how to practically contemplate anicca without going into abstractions, without floating away into abstract theories about what anicca is.
Well, the practical way, and pretty much the only way, because the abstract contemplation of anicca is not the anicca, is to find things that are dear to you, including yourself, your own senses, your own possessions, people, family, relatives, and then contemplate their cessation, and you're going to feel anicca. That's why anicca leads to dukkha, to recognition of dukkha. Not any impersonal scientific anicca. Oh look, everything is changing that I don't care about. So find things you care about and start applying the notion of impermanence that you know to those things, and you will feel dukkha. And that you realize that's the necessary base for the practice. That's where practice begins. And that's it. So you can make a contemplation out of it.
So it's not about, someone can look at the word anicca and then, find the etymology of it and go into the Pali about it.
Yeah.
And then,
if you don't know what anicca is, then that can help you, give you the idea, the context of the impermanence. But if you want to practice that anicca, not just get the right information about it, then you need to find things that you are emotionally connected with and start seeing it there, because it's anicca, dukkha, and then the experience of anatta, if you understand that. But there is a reason that's kind of the universal principle, because people don't see anicca, which is why they don't see the dukkha of the same thing. So in order to see the dukkha, which is necessary for the right practice, you need to start seeing the anicca on the level of things that you are pretty much attached to, that mean to you. So don't just take impersonal pondering and contemplation, but actually find stuff that you would be affected if it changes. That's it. And then think about that and allow that in your mind to endure, and see, it's like, wait, but it will change one way or the other. So why am I ignoring this obvious reality of things that are dear to me? And that's already the right practice, or certainly closer to the right practice than if you were to just study and think about anicca and use anicca as a kind of explanatory principle. It's like, yes, everything is constantly changing, as the Buddha and modern scientists have shown. Look, this wood is constantly, electrons are constantly moving, and that's constantly changing. That's irrelevant. That's not anicca. That's just you applying an external theory that you adopted, and it pleases you. No, just imagine, like, what if I were to go blind? What if I were to lose my eyesight? Would I be affected? Would I grieve? What if I were to become, injured and I can't move anymore? Would I be emotionally affected? Yes. So I'm attached to the body, to the movement, to the senses. But they will fade. They will change. I will lose my sight. So why am I ignoring that? And there is no right answer.
What about thinking like, but why is everything anicca? Let's get down to the why of anicca.
Sure. Yeah, that's kind of often mind would go in those directions, but that's like when you, that's what the Buddha said, when you go into the directions of trying to find out who and why they shot you with an arrow, instead of finding out how to get the arrow out and cure yourself from the wound. So those questions you need to restrain, because they're kind of pointless and they still revolve around the same craving, and you would use the information that you will get through the answer of why to basically lull yourself back into thinking, okay, now you dealt with anicca because you found a reason for it. No. The only way to deal with anicca is not to get the right answer to what anicca is or why anicca is there, is to not be affected by it when it occurs. When the change happens, will I remain imperturbable? The only way to be imperturbable in regard to anicca is to practice immovability in regard to anicca and to not ignore it, not to find the right answer for it. But yes, sometimes finding more answers about it will make you think about anicca more, will make you reflect more, so it's not necessarily always bad. But yes, don't fall into the trap of thinking that providing answers and satisfactory explanations of why anicca is there somehow made you closer to understanding it. It's not. If your mind doesn't move on account of it, that's what makes you closer to understanding.